got 20,000 and two $20,000 credit cards and one $25,000 credit card. If you guys were able to go to these institutions, those three institutions I just gave you guys, if you went to those three institutions and got 20,000 from two and 25,000 from one, right? That's what is that? 65,000, right? If 65,000, tell me in the chat. Let me know if 65,000 will help your business or help you as a just personally right now. With 65,000 in available lines of credit, help you today, right? You guys let me know, because we're gonna continuously build on this, on gaining lines of credit, being able to go out and acquire funding and acquire new credit cards. But let me know if that 65,000 will help you guys today. Right? Boom. I seen people asking to repeat. Okay, y'all got the banks in the chat. Boom. Yep. Right. So it will help you, right? And so what happens is that we realize that this will help us dramatically. But this is the part where I say it's about like a relationship, because in this relationship, you don't want to go in and only take and think like, okay, that's the first door that I got to. Let me take what I got and I'm gone. What we want to do is figure out, listen, how do I grow this relationship, and how does this relationship continuously help me grow with other banks, right? How does this help me grow with other banks? And so instead of using that, we got to understand this, is that the way our credit report is broken down, right? Utilization is one of the most important things on your credit report, right? Utilization and your age. The reason being is that you want the age of your credit report to grow. So that's why I tell people, listen, if I took you on a journey for a year, right? If I took you on a journey for a year on building your credit, acquiring lines of credit, and establishing it, is it worth it, right? Is it worth it if at the end of the year you can walk away with 300,000, 400,000 in available lines of credit? Meanwhile, while you're building your credit, you're also educating yourself on whatever industry it is. If you're looking to walk away from your 9 to 5, if you've already quit your 9 to 5, or if you're already working in your business as an entrepreneur, a lot of people, this is the reason why, in Recession Proof, we got almost 1,000 people who've been able to quit their 9 to 5. The reason being is because, listen, we understood that it's a process, right? Understanding it's a process. Walking away from corporate America, unlearning and relearning a new skill set is a process. This is not something that happens overnight. But what happens is that it's a journey that you live by. It's a journey that you take step by step, day by day, that allows you to walk away. And guess what happens at the end of it? When you reach the finish line, you start to understand that, hey, listen, it took me a year, but I've been working 3 years making $30,000 a year, $50,000 a year, right? But now in a year, I've been able to repair my credit. I've been able to structure my report. I've been able to go out and get funding. And now I got $400,000 in lines of funding. And I've been able to educate myself on my business to actually operate smoothly and fluently to a point where I can actually scale it now and take it to that next level that will allow me to walk away from a 9 to 5 and become recession proof, right? This is the mindset that we need to have and understand that it's not, okay, listen, if I go get this 65,000, that, hey, I'm good to go. I'm just going to go to work, right? It doesn't work like that. What I want you to understand is that now that you got that 65,000, that's nothing but a first date, first impression, right? That's your first impression mechanism, because now you can tell the banks, listen, I got 65,000, but I've been able to maintain my credit card utilization under 10% for the last 6 months. So now I got aged accounts on my credit report. So now guess what? Now I'm going to decide, hey, listen, I can acquire more lines of credit, right? All right. And so what I learned is that I can either get more lines of credit, right? And start to build with the banking system. And so I go, okay, let me let these sit. It's been 6 months now. Now I must understand, hey, listen, what about these big banks? How do these big banks work? How does Wells Fargo work? How does Chase work? How does Bank of America work? Right? How does American Express work? How is that set up? Right? And that's the thing that matters the most, right? And so what we want to do is that once we go, okay, I have literally built the relationship since these banks wanted to grow their actual footmark in the community with giving out large lines of credit. I've been able to what? Acquire large lines of credit. So I got 60,000 sitting, but I'm patient, right? This is the part about a relationship is that you have to be patient. So now that we've been patient, guess what? We go to the bigger banks. And now, have you ever seen people, right? If y'all looking, y'all follow me, y'all been tuned in for a while, you understand and you know that, hey, wait a minute. You'll see people going, they getting $75,000 credit cards, $50,000 credit cards, $100,000 credit cards, $1 million lines of credit. How is this possible? Right? How is this possible? How is it possible that somebody can go out and get a $50,000, $75,000 credit card? How is it possible that somebody can go out and get a $100,000, $1 million line of credit? It's because what it is that they let their actual credit report season, right? They let the credit report season. And so what we must understand is this: is that once we start to let our credit report season, right? Once our credit report starts the season, guess what happens? Now we get large lines of credit. Now we go to a Bank of America, right? A Chase. But we must understand that this is a relationship. So let's understand Chase. Let's understand how Chase works. Chase has a 524 rule, right? Chase has a 524 rule. And on Chase's 524 rule, what they do is this, is that they don't want you to get more than 5 credit cards in 24 months. Okay? Chase doesn't want you to get more than 5 credit cards in 24 months. Guess what? That's fine. They don't want you to get more than 5 credit cards in 24 months. Business credit cards don't show up on your personal credit report, so they can't see it. Well, how do they see it if it's not already on my account? When you bank with Chase, when you sign up with Chase, what happens is that most of us don't read the contract and realize that, listen, when you go open up a Chase account, guess what they say? Well, we want permission to do a soft credit check when we feel like it. So as long as you got a Chase credit card, for those of you who got a Chase credit card, Chase can do a soft credit pull. So they'll do a soft credit pull and see if you opened up multiple lines of credit when you apply for their card or after, right? And if you did, they'll terminate your account and shut you all the way down. So, but what we have to do is understand is that this business credit cards don't show up. So we want to get business credit cards. The second thing is that we want to know, hey, listen, when I'm banking, for those of you, right? Because I know a lot of you guys probably got a Chase credit card, right? If you take a hit on your credit, do not overuse or start to do anything out of the ordinary that you haven't been doing with your Chase credit card, because what they'll do is actually go back and do a soft pull, right? If your utilization shoots up, if they go do a soft pull, figure out, oh, wait, your credit report dropped. You got 2 credit cards at 60, 70% utilization. Nah, you pay the credit card down and then they restrict the line. You go from a $25,000 credit card to a $5,000 credit card because they do soft pulls. These are things that we must be aware of, right? And these are things that they're never going to tell us. These aren't things that's going to sit there and go, okay, listen, when I'm building my credit report, I'm applying for the application, this isn't things that people are going to tell us, right? The banks aren't going to tell us this, right? And so what happens is what I want you guys to do is understand, like, listen, the banks aren't going to tell us all the rules that they actually apply by. We must start to do our own due diligence, our own research in this relationship that we're building, right? So what's the second thing is that then you got banks like Bank of America. Bank of America has a 234 rule, right? Bank of America has a 234 rule. With the 234 rule with Bank of America, it means you can get 2 credit cards in 30 days, and you can get 3 credit cards in 12 months in a year, and you get 4 credit cards in 2 years, right? That's the 234 rule. But what they don't tell you is that 2 credit cards in 30 days, you can get on the same day. And if you apply for 2 credit cards the same day, they'll only pull 1 inquiry. So now you imagine getting 2 $50,000 credit cards from Bank of America, right? You got the Bank of America Credit Cash, and you got the American, the Bank of America Rewards. It's like a travel rewards card, right? And so now what happens is that the American credit, the American card, That's one business credit card. And then you also got the business travel credit card. That's two credit cards that you get with one inquiry, right? So what is that? That's if you say you come in on a business side with a proper structure report, that's $50,000 a piece, right? That's what now we're at 165,000. Does that help anybody? Right? Y'all drop a one in the chat if you're learning something right now. So as I keep going, right? Let me know if I'd have told you guys something that you didn't know already, right? Drop a one in the chat. Y'all drop a one in the chat if y'all learning. Y'all want me to keep going as we take a deep dive and going through different funding possibilities. And now I'm gonna teach you guys how to hide your credit utilization plus some more, right? Drop a one in the chat and let me know. Okay. All right. So listen, my goal tonight is this. I want to come out. My goal tonight is to teach you guys something that you didn't know, right? And so, you guys, I'm telling you guys about these banks, right? Now, imagine is that as I'm telling you guys about these banks, right? Guess what? Is that this is just the foundation, okay? This is the foundation. So, what else do we have? Is that with the banks we have um, understanding funding, right? So you got Bank of America. I just told you about the Bank of America. You also have Alliant, right? You also have Alliant as the credit union, but Citi, right? Citi is another credit card that is good for giving out $25,000 credit cards plus. But what these are things that we don't know, right? You have credit cards that have minimums, right? They don't tell us this. Y'all let me know if that the banks ever told you this. When they send you them pre-approval letters, if they tell you, hey, listen, when you go to the bank, ask the banker, what credit cards do you guys have that got like a $10,000 minimum, right? Meaning, if I get approved for it, I ain't getting nothing less than 10,000. Because don't nothing hurt your feelings like getting a credit card that's $1,000, or you get an approval and it'd be like, oh, it's 500, or you got approved for $750, right? Nobody's above it. We all been there. I've been there before, right? And so that's one of the things you go, man, I want to know what's the minimum, right? And so what you guys should look into is this. You actually have infinite Visa cards, right? Infinite Visa cards, right? And with the Infinite Visa, what happens is on the Infinite Visa, they have a $10,000 minimum, right? Like your Chase Sapphire Preferred. So your Chase Sapphire Preferred is a Visa minimum, meaning if you get approved for the actual Chase Sapphire Reserve, it will not be less than $10,000, right? It will not be less than $10,000. And so what we want to understand is this, is that, hey, we can hit Chase for two credit cards same day, right? Guess what happens? Now we know, okay, well, at bare minimum, I'm not getting nothing less than 10,000, right? And this is where we start to research, and why I want everybody to do research and start understanding, hey, listen, it's multiple options out there for us to be able to take advantage of. Also, American Express, American Express used to have a rule where they wouldn't allow you to get certain cards or a certain amount of cards. Well, guess what now? American Express will allow you to get up to five credit cards in a day, right? American Express will allow you to get five credit cards in a day. What I tell people off of one inquiry, this is as simple as that. You just must understand about structuring your report. A lot of us look at our credit report and we think about the score, right? We look at our credit report and we think about the score. But what we have to understand is this: do you need five American Express credit cards? I tell people we want to have, it's a relationship based. So the credit cards that you have, you want to know why you're using them, right? If you're super heavy in business and different things like that, then the Plum card might be good for you, right? But if you're doing a mix of like leisure, travel, and things like that, then the American Express Platinum is a good one. But then understand it's relationship. You got the American Express Platinum, but you also got the Platinum with Charles Schwab. You also got your Gold American Express Charge Card, right? Your Gold American Express Charge Card, and the Gold American Express Charge Card is really for advertising and marketing, right? For us as entrepreneurs, advertising and marketing is the biggest thing and the biggest contributor to our business. So when it comes to marketing and advertisement, I don't care if you go hire an agency, right? You must run all ads and things like that through your actual American Express card. Secondly, you need I get a Delta card. I recommend everybody gets a Delta card. Why? It's because once you get a Delta card, that's inside the US, Delta is the best airlines to fly, in my opinion, right? And they're partnered with American Express. So since they're partnered with American Express, what I want us to do is that, listen, that's 3 cards. What I would tell you to do is this: if you apply for the platinum and you get an approval, right? If you apply for the platinum and you get an approval, double down, right back, open up another window, and apply for the American Express Gold card, right? After you get approved for the American Express Gold card, double down and then apply for your Delta Sky Miles Rewards card, right? And then understand what happens is that it's giving us large lines of credit, but they have purposes of why we have them, right? It's not just, let me just get credit to have credit. My platinum is the card that I'm going to run my limit up on, right? I want to run my limit up on every expenditure that I have. I want to put on my platinum. Why? To grow that line of credit, right? I want to grow that line of credit. Secondly, is that, okay, well, I'm getting all this credit, and let me know if I'm moving too fast, y'all, because I talk fast, right? Because I want to make sure y'all catching me and following me. You start with your credit unions with acquiring lines of credit, right? After you let those season for 6 months, then you start to deal with your bigger banks. But you deal with your bigger banks on the business side, so that way they give you larger lines of credit, right? Let me know if y'all let me know if y'all follow me in the chat if y'all with me, right? Let me know. Either keep going or slow down. Let me know. So type keep going or slow down. I'm moving fast. I literally just got off the stage at a conference, came home to jump right into this, right? Somebody said, please repeat the Bank of America, right? With Bank of America, right? With Bank of America, you got a 2-3-4 rule. So you can get 2 credit cards in 30 days, you can get 3 credit cards in 12 months, and you can get 4 credit cards in 2 years. That's your 2-3-4 rule with Bank of America. But the two credit card, the 2-3-4, the 2 credit cards in 30 days, you can get on the same inquiry within that 30-day period. So I recommend everybody do it at the same time. Right? So these are things that we want to be mindful of, right? Is that understanding how this works, right? Understanding how this works. And so now what happens is that we go, okay, I understand how to get the credit, but how do I build my lines of my actual credit report out, right? How many of you guys struggle with actually building a report out? You go, oh, I got a good credit score, but I get denied for credit cards, right? I got a good credit card. I got a good credit score, but I'm getting denied. Why am I getting denied when I got a good credit score? Because of the fact of this is that the biggest fact is that we don't understand the importance of a credit report and how to properly build it out, right? We don't understand how to properly build it out, right? And so what we want to look at is that how do we properly build out our credit report, right? I tell people this is that, listen, when you go into repairing your credit, when you go into disputing things, right, on your credit report, one of the things that you must understand is that how the actual credit bureaus work. This is another relationship, right? This is another relationship, right? And so what happens is that as you start to build out your credit report, or let's just say you're doing a dispute, you starting out with cleaning, right? When you go into cleaning your credit report, most people don't understand this, is that how does the credit bureaus work? The credit bureaus are not, right, government agencies, right? The credit bureaus are privately owned companies. And so with the credit bureaus, what we want to understand is this, is that we want to understand with the credit bureaus is that, hey, I can actually go in and dispute with you and dispute things with you based on the laws. I want to know what the laws are. I want to know what your steps are, and I want to know how to go against the credit bureaus in fault ways, right? Because it's a lot of things that the credit bureaus do that are unethical, right? And so since we don't know that it's unethical because we don't know the laws. We don't know the proper structure. A lot of us think that the credit bureaus are government agencies, right? A lot of us think that, hey, we send in a dispute, it comes back verified. We think that the credit bureaus know everything, right? Not realizing that the credit bureaus don't know everything, right? They only know what they get told. Let me repeat it down. The credit bureaus only know what they get told. Well, I don't know how many of you guys have gave anybody permission to tell the credit bureaus your business, right? How many of you guys have signed a letter or signed a contract that gives the credit that gives companies the permission to tell the credit bureaus your business, right? That's the thing. And then when it comes to collection agencies, you never had a business, you never had any dealings with collection agencies. So if you've never had dealings with collection agencies, what gives them the right to tell the credit bureaus your business? I had a phone account with Sprint. I didn't have a phone account with ABC Collection Agency. I never signed a contract with ABC Collection Agency, but ABC Collection Agency is for some reason on my credit report. Right? These are the things that come into play, and we start to learn and go, wait a minute. If I didn't give them permission, how do I fight for myself? Right? How do I fight for myself? Right? What is it that I need to do? Right? And so this is where we start learning, okay, well, let's figure out how these credit bureaus work. Let's figure out that, okay, you got secondary bureaus out there, right? You got secondary bureaus out there that when you file a dispute, that the credit bureaus lean on them to report information on you, right? You got companies like, probably want to write this down, Sage Stream, LexisNexis, Innovis, ARS, right? So write that down. You got SageStream, ARS, Innovis, LexisNexis, right? These are companies that actually report on your credit report, and they're secondary reporting bureaus that report data, right? You got, and so what happens is with these secondary bureaus, they're reporting on your behalf, but you never gave them permission, right? You never gave them permission. And so what happens is that since you never gave them permission to report on your behalf, you can opt out of the secondary bureaus. So since what happens is that go and opt out of the secondary bureaus, right? You go to LexisNexis, SageStream, Innovis, ARS, right? You go to these companies and literally opt out, right? You want to opt out of the actual process to tell them, yo, listen, one, I never gave you permission. Stop reporting on my behalf. Now, guess what? That automatically makes it harder for the actual credit bureaus to verify the negative accounts that's on your credit report, right? That makes it harder for the credit bureaus to verify the negative accounts that's on your credit report, right? The next thing is that we want to start to go and say, okay, well, now we want to file disputes, right? And so what happens is that there's a law, right? Write this law down, 15 USC, right? 1681B, right? I want you guys to write this law down. Write that law down, all right? Write that law down. 15 USC 1681B, right? That's for permissible purposes, right? Write that law down. And because now when you Google and you pull up that law, you can actually put that law into a dispute letter that, listen, I never gave these collection agencies permission to actually report on my behalf or report to my credit report. Then you opt out of the secondary bureaus. It makes it harder for them to actually verify and validate the information that's on your credit report. You also got another dispute method with a 609 letter, right? That's going to challenge the validity of accounts that's on your credit report. And so what you want to start to do is start to understand, like, yo, listen, how do I actually dispute? This is how you start to dispute the negative items on your credit report, right? So now at this point, you're going, okay, well, listen, let me start to understand. I opt out of the secondary bureaus, right? So I opt out of the secondary bureaus. That takes their hand away. Second thing is that you want to go into a point where you say, okay, listen, let me make sure the name, the address, and any misspelled names is on my credit report is all correct, right? And so you don't want any misspelled names, any wrong birth dates. any old addresses on your credit report. You literally can call into the credit bureaus, right? I want you guys to call into the credit bureaus. It may take you some time to get on the phone with them. Call into the credit bureaus. You literally can ask them, hey, listen, you don't got time to send a letter to them and wait 20, 30 days for them to remove incorrect personal information off your credit report. When you literally call in, they will remove the incorrect personal information from your credit report. So now at that point, what happens is that now you're getting them to remove the personal, the misspelled names, the information that's on your credit report. The reason why that's important is that when they start to remove the incorrect personal information on your credit report, if it doesn't match up with the information that's provided to the credit bureaus, if that name is spelled wrong, if that birth date is wrong, if that address doesn't match up, right, then they must delete that negative account from the credit report when you simply send in a 609 letter, right? So we have to start understanding, how do we actually dispute negative items from our credit report, right? And so now this is how we start to dispute negative items from our credit report. We also have the permissible purposes law and act. So now we can use permissible purposes. We also have, meaning, hey, I never gave you permission to report this. So since I never gave you permission, you don't have a contract with me. It's illegal for you to even report on my behalf without us even having a contract. So now, once the actual legal statutes start to come in place, the credit bureaus delete things much faster, much easier when you understand the laws, right? So these are the things that I tell people. Listen, you have FTC, right, and CFPB, right? If with CFPB, one of the things with CFPB I tell people all the time is that CFPB is the actual government company that regulates the credit bureaus, right? CFPB. This is the company that regulates the credit bureaus. Guess what happens? Right? With CFPB, when it regulates the credit bureaus, they're the ones that you can actually, hey, listen, I found a permissible purpose law against the credit bureaus, and they still didn't remove the negative items off my credit report. So now what I'm gonna do is take the actual law. I'm gonna take the letter that I sent to them. I'm gonna take the tracking and the delivery that I sent to them, and I'm gonna upload it onto CFPB. Now on CFPB, I'm gonna file a complaint against the credit bureaus. Right? I'm filing a complaint against the credit bureaus. When I file a complaint against the credit bureaus, now guess what? Now the government is actually stepping in and regulating, going, hey, listen, this is the law. Now you must present everything to us now that says that they gave them permission to actually report to their behalf on their behalf. Guess what? Nothing of the sort exists. So they must remove it, right? But this is the information that we must understand as we start to like clean our credit and understand that, okay, well, this is the ways that we take to start removing negative items. Well, what do we need to do to add and build? Because now I remove negative items, but I want to get to building my credit report as well, right? And everybody know one of the things that I hear a lot, right, is that people love to say, yo, in the past, get a secure credit card, right? People will love to say, get a secure credit card. If you guys know me, you follow me, you've been to my trainings, or you've heard me speak, you know one of the things I hate the most is secure credit cards, right? I hate secure credit cards because of the fact of this. Banks aren't going to give us personal loans, right? Banks aren't going to give us personal loans. So what do? Since the banks don't want to give us personal loans, we know they'll give us credit cards. Why? Because credit cards have a higher interest rate, right? I mean, that's a given. I would make it harder to get a loan and easier to get a credit card. Yeah. Do you want to get 3 to 7% return? Or do you want to get 16 to 27% return, right? Y'all let me know. Y'all want a 16% or to 27% return, or a 3 to 7% return? Y'all let me know. If you loan somebody some money, you want to get 3 to 7% or 16 to 27%, right? Let me know in the chat. Y'all let me know what return y'all would want to go for. Mm-hmm. Right? Exactly. We want to go for the higher percentage. That's what we will want back, right? And so now, guess what happens? Is that now we say, okay, well, we know that. So if I go get a secure credit card, my secure credit card gonna be $500 to $1,000. So now this is supposed to help me build my credit. Cool. It'll help build the score over time. My score will go up because it's a positive account. If I keep the utilization right, it'll help, right? And the on-time payments, that'll help. These are things that will help my credit grow. What I tell people is that if you do a secure credit, I mean, instead of doing a secure credit card, do a secure loan. Or you do an actual, you do a credit card. You could do like a pledge loan with Navy Federal has a pledge loan that you can do. Or you can also do like a Sable credit card, right? If you're doing a secure credit card, I recommend doing a secure loan, which is like the pledge loan with Navy Federal. You may put in $1,000, $10,000, $5,000, $500. You can put it in, and what happens is that it will convert over into an unsecured loan, right? And when it converts over to an unsecured loan, it never shows up that, hey, listen, this started off as his own money going put in because we didn't trust him because he had a weak credit profile or she had a weak credit profile. So now what happens is that we starting to add in information going, okay, let me actually add now. I'm adding secure credit, secure loans, right? Or the Sable card, right? The Sable card is a credit card. After 4 months, you can actually convert it over into an unsecured credit card. And when I say secure versus unsecured, secure means, hey, this is your own money and we're loaning you your own money, right? Unsecured means the banks have trusted you with money and you haven't defaulted, you haven't burnt them or ran off on them. So guess what? Now we're more likely to trust you, right? You guys follow me with that? Drop a one in the chat. Y'all still follow me, right? Drop a one in the chat if y'all still follow me, understanding how we get to the money, right? If you're understanding how we get to the money, drop a one in the chat. Because once it go past credit, once we get past credit, we get to get into other business ideas. I just want to make sure we can get past.